Competição mundial hoje para atrair estudantes de outros países, né? Os Estados Unidos, por exemplo, têm estudantes de diversos países, assim como a Alemanha, a Inglaterra. Como é que a Alemanha se posiciona nessa competição e como é que ela pretende atrair estudantes, por exemplo, do Brasil?
In Germany we have many universities with a long tradition. We have also other universities which are not so old, but which are really top class. And when we look at the global, let me call it market for studying, then we see a couple of elements which then will help us to find the answer to your question. One element is there is a shortage. There is definitely a shortage of university capacity for educating young people, a global shortage. One. Number two, there are countries which have a good basis, good infrastructure to give academic training. And Germany is one of those. I mean, among the oldest universities at all, you have Heidelberg from the 14th century, you have others especially from the 16th and 17th century, long traditions, and they must have been somehow not so bad because they have managed to survive until today. So, then of course the question, there is a higher degree of mobility in the globalized society, so a Chinese student in principle is able to make up his mind. Should I go to US? Should I go to UK? Should I go to France, to Spain? Or should I go to Germany? And I think looking at statistics gives us a clue. And for the time being, number one for a country for attracting foreign students is the United States. And in the number two position, we have two countries which are more or less at the same stage. This is UK and Germany. And when we ask why UK and the United States, one answer might be there is the language aspect, and some people consider studying in Germany might be more complicated because of the language threshold. But German universities have taken note of this aspect and are offering many courses in English. So we are in a worldwide competition, and when you do a worldwide comparison, Germany is amongst the top countries where students would like to go for studies. Of course, there is also some, let me call it, distortion of competition. Distortion of competition in Germany is you do not need to pay that much money as you do have to pay in the United States or in other countries. Tuition fees are very low. This is very attractive. Of course, also this is a win-win situation because those young people, once they have studied and finished with their studies in Germany, they will go back to their country and they will tell about their experience. And studying in Germany and living the German way of life, and let me call it the European way of life, because the European Union is integrating every day more and more. This is a tremendous asset. And when you look, for example, at industry, until 2009, Germany was number one exporting country in the world. I mean, more than everybody else. This is going to change. We are only 80 million people, so this has to change one day. But when you have good links with Germany, you know about German structure of industry and technology. Maybe you have worked as an intern in a German company. You know the language because you start in English and then you will end up to saying, well, let's start learning German, and German is a language you can learn. It's not that difficult.
Embaixador, na América Latina, o Brasil é o principal parceiro comercial da Alemanha. Isso pode facilitar uma negociação entre o Mercosul e a União Europeia?
I definitely believe so. The European Union, and Germany being one of the important members of the European Union, the European Union has always put very high emphasis on close cooperation with Latin America, with bilateral, especially with Brazil, but also in the context of Mercosur. Of course, when you have people doing business, and when you have trade, you have competition. And sometimes life with competition is not as pleasant as you would like to see it. But this is reality. But I think when you look at the interests, what are the interests of the European Union and of Germany? What are the interests of Brazil and of Latin America and of Mercosur? I think it's for sure that it's a win-win situation. Of course, individual questions have to be discussed, and it has to be figured out, it has to be hammered out how in certain aspects the rules of the game should be. But for me it's not the slightest doubt that there is still enormous potential which is not yet activated.
O senhor mencionou há pouco que a Alemanha ainda é o país com o maior exportador do mundo, mas um país com apenas 80 milhões de habitantes não seria capaz de manter essa posição durante muito tempo. A Alemanha tem investido em um novo formato para a sua economia, com ênfase para a indústria do conhecimento, para a chamada indústria criativa. Gostaria que o senhor definisse um pouco melhor essa aposta econômica alemã no começo do século XXI.
I think one of the strengths in Germany is maybe we are not top in everything, top, but we are in the top segment of everything, and the combination of everything together makes it a very, how should I say, a very convincing setting. And it starts with infrastructure. Pure and simple. You post a letter today and it arrives tomorrow. It starts with communications. Although the German railway is not always on time, but it's a very reliable system. It has to do with the legal system. You have a problem, you seek advice from a court, and it works. Very important. You have a functioning banking system, and so on, and so on. And you have a school system, you have academic formation, universities, you have research, you have a strong industry base, and all this together. And let's not forget something which we are very proud. It's democracy. We take it for granted. And when it comes to these, how should I say, new industries, creative industries, those creative industries, they definitely need a very broad basis of understanding of culture and of civilization. Germans were also interested what is a culture, translated languages, wrote grammar books and so on. And this turns out to be also a very important element in order to have long-term constructive relations with other countries, better understanding. Only if we understand you Brazilians as good as possible, then we can have a deal. But also it's also the other way around. You also have to understand what's all about the Germans. You also have to try to make efforts to learn languages beyond English. I'm not arguing you have to learn German, but languages beyond. In Europe, we have, how should I say, a policy which says every European pupil should learn two languages, foreign languages. English, of course, these days English is lingua franca, but another European language in order to be able to communicate, because the risk is communication without understanding.
Embaixador Wilfried Grolig, muito obrigado por sua entrevista ao Diplomacia.